My friends, I need you to stop what you're doing right now because what I'm about to share with you today could directly affect when your money hits your bank account this month, and I don't want you to miss it. Whether you're on Social Security, retirement, SSI, or SSDI, there is a very real possibility that your April payment could arrive earlier than you're expecting, and I know what you're thinking. Earlier sounds great, but what's the catch? Well, stay right here with me because I'm going to walk you through everything step by step in plain English, just the way you deserve to hear it. Now, I've been covering Social Security updates for a long time, and I want you to know something. I'm not here to scare you or get your hopes up for nothing. I'm here because you've worked hard your entire life, you've paid into this system, and you deserve to know exactly what's happening with your money. No confusing government language, no runaround. Just the truth, explained the way a good friend would explain it, sitting right across the table from you. So let's get into it together because this April update is genuinely important. Let me start by explaining why April is already a little different when it comes to Social Security payment timing, and why this year, 2025, things are shifting in a way that's going to affect millions of beneficiaries across the country. Here's something the SSA doesn't always make crystal clear. Your payment date isn't just about the calendar month. It's tied to your birthday, your benefit type, and whether certain dates fall on weekends or federal holidays. And when a scheduled payment date bumps into a weekend or a holiday, the Social Security Administration moves that payment forward, meaning you get paid earlier than the standard date. That's not a rumor or a glitch. That's official SSA policy, and it works in your favor. Now, for April specifically, many beneficiaries are seeing adjustments to their normal schedule. If your regular payment date falls on a Sunday or near a holiday window, the SSA is required to push that deposit to the Friday before. And for people who depend on that money to cover rent, groceries, medications, and utilities, getting it even 2 or 3 days early can make a genuine difference in your household budget. I've heard from so many of you who tell me you plan your entire week around that deposit date, and I want you to have every advantage possible when it comes to planning ahead. Now let's talk about the number that's been on everyone's mind since late last year, the 2025 COLA increase. COLA stands for Cost of Living Adjustment, and it's the annual raise that Social Security beneficiaries receive to help keep up with inflation. For 2025, that increase came in at 2.5%. And while some folks were hoping for a bigger jump, I want to put this in real dollar terms so you can see what it actually means in your pocket. If you were receiving $1,800 to $800 a month in Social Security retirement benefits at the end of 2024, your 2.5% COLA means you're now receiving approximately $1,845 a month. That's an extra $45 every single month, or about $540 more over the course of the full year. Now, is that going to change your life overnight? Maybe not, but it's real money, money you earned. And over 12 months, that adds up to a tank of gas every month, a prescription copay, a bag of groceries. Don't ever let anyone tell you that a COLA increase doesn't matter. For millions of seniors living on a fixed income, every dollar counts. For SSI recipients, the 2025 COLA brought the maximum federal benefit rate up to $960 per month for individuals and $1,250 per month for eligible couples. And for those of you on SSDI, your monthly benefit also received that same 2.5% adjustment based on your individual calculated amount. The adjustment happened automatically. You didn't need to do anything to receive it. But if you haven't seen it reflected in your payments yet, or if the numbers don't look quite right, I want to encourage you to log into your My Social Security account at ssa.gov and double-check your benefit statement. Let me now give you the clearest possible picture of the April 2025 payment schedule because this is where the early payment situation really comes into focus. For SSI recipients, your payment is typically issued on the first of every month. But here's the important part. When the first falls on a weekend, the SSA sends that money out on the last business day of the previous month. What that means practically is that some SSI recipients will see their April payment deposited as early as the last week of March. If that happened to you and you're wondering why money showed up and you weren't expecting it, that is your April benefit paid early. Don't spend it thinking it's extra money. It is your regular monthly benefit, just delivered ahead of schedule. For Social Security retirement and SSDI beneficiaries, your payment date is based on your birthday. If your birthday falls between the 1st and 10th of any month, you receive your payment on the 2nd Wednesday of the month. If your birthday falls between the 11th and 20th, you're paid on the 3rd Wednesday. And if your birthday falls between the 21st and 31st, your payment comes on the 4th Wednesday of the month. In April, depending on exactly where those Wednesdays fall and whether any federal holidays are nearby, some groups may find their deposits arriving slightly ahead of the usual window. If you're still receiving a paper check rather than direct deposit, and I say this with the most loving urgency I can, please consider switching to direct deposit or the Direct Express card. Paper checks are slower, they can be lost or stolen, and they don't benefit from early payment adjustments the same way electronic payments do. The SSA makes it simple to switch, and it's one of the best things you can do to protect your monthly income. Now, I want to have an honest conversation with you about something that not everyone talks about, the deductions and offsets that may be quietly reducing your monthly payment, because understanding what's coming out of your check is just as important as knowing what's going in. The most common deduction most beneficiaries see is the Medicare Part B premium, which in 2025 is $185 per month for most enrollees. That premium is deducted directly from your Social Security payment before it ever hits your bank account. So if your gross benefit is $1,845, but you're enrolled in Medicare Part B, the amount actually deposited will be closer to $1,660. This surprises a lot of people, and I want you to know exactly what to expect. Beyond Medicare premiums, some beneficiaries are subject to what's called an overpayment recovery. This is when the SSA determines that they paid you more than you were entitled to in a previous period, sometimes due to a reporting error, a change in income, or a clerical mistake on their end. And they begin withholding a portion of your monthly benefit to recover those funds. If this is happening to you, please know that you have rights. You can request a waiver if repaying the overpayment would cause you financial hardship, and you can appeal the determination if you believe it was made in error. Don't simply accept a reduced payment without understanding why it's happening. For SSI recipients, income and asset limits can also affect your monthly amount. If you had any earnings, received any gifts, or had changes in your living situation during the previous month, those changes can directly reduce your SSI benefit for the current month. The rules around SSI are genuinely complex, and if your payment seems lower than expected, it's worth calling the SSA at 1-800-772-1213 to ask for a full breakdown of how your benefit was calculated. For those of you who are veterans receiving both VA benefits and Social Security, and there are millions of you across this country, I want to make sure you understand how these two programs interact, especially during a month like April when payment timing can shift. The good news is that VA compensation and pension payments are separate from Social Security payments. They're managed by the Department of Veterans Affairs and operate on their own payment calendar. In April 2025, VA benefit payments are generally scheduled to be issued on the first business day of the month. If you receive both VA and Social Security benefits, you may actually see deposits hitting your account from two different sources on two slightly different dates. That's completely normal and expected. What I want to caution you about is this. If you are receiving VA pension benefits and also receiving SSI, the SSA considers your VA pension as unearned income, which can reduce your SSI payment dollar for dollar above a certain threshold. This is one of those hidden interactions that catches people off guard, and it's why I always recommend sitting down with a benefits counselor or a VSO, a veteran service organization, if you're managing multiple income streams in retirement or disability. Organizations like the American Legion, the DAVI, or the VFW offer free benefits counseling, and they can help you make sure you're not leaving money on the table. Here's the part of today's video I really want you to pay attention to, because this is where real money can be found for people who know where to look. First, let's talk about the Earned Income Tax Credit. Many seniors on SSI or SSDI who also have small amounts of earned income, maybe from part-time work, a small business, or a side activity, may qualify for the EITC at tax time. The credit can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars as a refund, and yet many older Americans don't claim it simply because they don't know they're eligible. If you worked at all in 2024, even part-time, please ask a tax preparer or use the IRS free file program to check your eligibility before the filing deadline. Second, if you're a Social Security retirement beneficiary who hasn't yet reached your full retirement age, be very careful about how much you earn from work. In 2025, if you're under full retirement age for the entire year, the SSA will withhold $1 of benefits for every $2 you earn above $22,320. That threshold went up this year thanks to inflation adjustments, and it's important to stay aware of it if you're working part-time while receiving benefits. Third, and this one is powerful, if you're a widow or widower, make sure you're claiming the higher of your own benefit or your survivor benefit. You are not locked into one forever. There is a strategy where you can claim one benefit early and switch to the higher one later, and this decision can mean hundreds of dollars more per month for the rest of your life. Please talk to the SSA about your options before making any irreversible decisions. Let's spend just a moment on taxes because this is something I get asked about constantly, and I want to make sure you have a clear picture going into the spring season. Up to 85% of your Social Security benefits can be subject to federal income tax depending on your combined income. Combined income is calculated as your adjusted gross income plus any non-taxable interest plus half of your Social Security benefits. If that total is above $25,000 for a single filer or above $32,000 for a married couple filing jointly, a portion of your benefits becomes taxable. This is something that surprises a lot of retirees who assumed Social Security was completely tax-free, and it's a conversation worth having with a tax professional before you file your 2024 return. The silver lining is that many states do not tax Social Security income at all. In fact, more than 40 states either fully exempt Social Security from state income tax or provide significant deductions. If you live in one of those states, your tax burden may be lighter than you think, and that's money you get to keep. My friends, I want to close today by reminding you of something I truly believe with all my heart. You spent decades working, contributing, raising families, and building this country. The benefits you receive from Social Security, SSI, SSDI, and the VA are not charity. They are yours. You earned every single dollar, and you deserve to receive every single dollar you're entitled to. April's early payment schedule, the 2025 COLA adjustment, the Medicare deductions, the VA interactions, the tax considerations, all of it matters, and all of it is worth understanding. Because when you understand how the system works, you stop being surprised by your deposits and you start being in control of your financial life. And that sense of control, that peace of mind, is something nobody can take away from you. If today's video helped you even a little bit, if it gave you one number you didn't have before, or one question to ask the SSA, or one strategy to consider, please give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend or family member who might need to hear it too. Subscribe so you never miss an update, because I'll be here every week with the latest news on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, VA benefits, and everything else that affects your monthly check. Until next time, take good care of yourself. And remember, you've got a friend in your corner, always.